All right, everybody, welcome into Sim Racing Media tonight. These drivers of the Racers Elite Next Gen Series are at Auto Club in the penultimate race here tonight. It is a close battle for the points lead. Right now, let's go ahead and go through a rundown of what has happened while we were away here. Kinsley Smith looks like he has been able to lead almost every lap here. Ira Kohlhaas back in second. Austin John Smith is in third. As Kohlhaas goes down to the inside, going to try and take away a spot here, get up towards the lead. So here we go. Coming through turn one. Kinsley Smith with the lead. Austin John Smith down to the inside of Kohlhaas. It's going to take away P2. Austin John Smith is battling for the championship. Let's check in on another championship contender. Right now he is back in 11th position. And that is the 6 of Andrew Teft. Andrew's trying to get that number 6 forward. Back up towards the front. There are a few points separating him from Austin John Smith right now, but we'll see what happens towards the end of this race here. Ira Kohlhaas down the inside, going to take the lead, maybe? They've been battling hot and heavy up front early. Kinsley Smith, Ira Kohlhaas, and Austin John Smith. Ira Kohlhaas gets the lead heading down the backstretch as they fan out towards the wall a little bit. Austin John Smith inside, trying to figure out what line he wants to run. Looks like he's up in about that 4th asphalt groove up there. Trying to run that high line here at Auto Club. I know if you run the high line at Auto Club here, you do get a lot more speed. If you can maintain that low line, almost like that Kevin Harvick line, you can save the tires quite a bit, but it will come at a cost of speed. A lot of these drivers were in the race last night. They had 98 laps. As Ira Kohlhaas gets loose into the outside wall, is spinning down the front stretch here, able to get it back under himself. We'll have to see if we can go back and take a look at that. But with that going on, Austin John Smith is going to be able to take the lead and battle Kinsley Smith down the backstretch. Ira Kohlhaas gets that car back under him. He is now back into 10th. Looks like Ian Campbell's trying to make his way up towards the front. Saw him last night in the 12 machine working his way through. Now tonight he is in the number 2. He had some speed last night as well. Alex Teft inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. still Ian Campbell. Inside, outside, runs that middle line now, as they're almost 3 wide coming through the front stretch. Austin John Smith down to the inside. Campbell on the high side. Slides up in front of Kinsley Smith, who was almost at the wall. But that allows Austin John Smith to take the lead here as they work their way through 1 and 2. Looks like Smith gets a little loose as these guys are kind of getting lined out here. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Ira Kojas back on lap 17. If we can go back a little ways here. It looks like he just gets a little loose coming to turn exit. Loses it when he goes to get back on the gas. Luckily for Austin John Smith, he was able to keep it down low and stay off the racing surface, but definitely something to watch out for here. As Campbell has taken the lead, we do have a couple drivers headed down pit lane. We are running 100 laps here in the Next Gen Series. I believe they shortened this down to almost 50% fuel. So get a few shorter pit stops here. Kinsley Smith making his way down pit lane as well. Dennis Kane, Ira Kojas all headed down. Austin John Smith running the high line now, trying to get a little more speed out of that 23 Chevy as he goes to the point. Ian Campbell slides up behind him. It winds up P2. When these guys elect to pit, we saw a couple different strategies try and play out last night. Guys who ran basically to their set number, and then you had other guys that were trying to stretch it as far as they could, as it looks like almost half the field has came to pit road on lap 20 or 21. Looks like Ian Campbell's going to come down this time by. Austin John Smith going to lead him one more lap. Corey Crowell ran a heck of a race last night. And it has been on fire lately. These past couple nights. On Tuesday, you saw him take home the victory in the exhibition race in the Truck Series. Last night, he wound up on the podium in the Xfinity ride. Tonight, he's going to see if he can bring this next-gen car a podium finish as well. Timothy Hoke, Ian Campbell, Brandon Puffenbarger all head down pit lane. See what the leader is going to do this time by. Like he's coming down. Crowell stays out. The only driver to stay out at the moment. He comes down that back stretch. See how far he can stretch this fuel run. As Crowell comes down on lap 25, so looks like he's going to definitely try and split that into split the race into 4 as Austin John Smith slides up in front of Ian Campbell. Smith pitted a lap later, so he doesn't quite have the speed built into that ride there, as Ian Campbell's going to go to the low side, see if he's going to be able to take away P1 here as they battle side by side to the start finish line. Looks like Campbell's going to get to to the line first, but he won't lead that lap as Corey Crowell had his pit stall on the other side and is on his way out. So they will pass him momentarily here. And Campbell going to slide up in front of Austin John Smith. Austin John Smith doesn't necessarily care too much about winning the race at the moment. He just needs to have a good points day. Because he is battling with, let's go back here to 9th place position, Andrew Teft. If the race were to finish right now, it would be a way close battle in the points coming to the final race at Texas, and they would be racing each other for the title. Right now, let's see if we can take this away, and let's see if we can bring up the point standings here. Andrew Teft with 2,227 points. Austin John Smith just 6 points back. Ira Kohaus, Dennis Kane, Kinsley Smith all kind of left towards the back there. Hard to make up that many points with the field sizes that we have. But Andrew Teft and Austin John Smith are definitely going to be battling as they head to the final race here. Ian Campbell. Ooh, Austin John Smith. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened here. Might have to go back a little bit further. Yeah, let's see if we can go back a little bit further. On board here with Austin John Smith coming down the backstretch. We'll see what happens here. Dives it in deep. It's a pretty good run there. Yeah. Looked like he just lost a ton of speed there for a moment, but here they are still side by side. Lap 30 here. Alex Teff working his way back up towards the front. Slowly but surely moving his way there. Ian Campbell still leading this thing. Austin John Smith working that high line. We can do a little quick recap here. Austin John Smith leading the race. Got Ian Campbell in that 2 machine down to the inside. Alex Teft, the Hope Valley, Rhode Island native, up into P3. Kinsley Smith working that high line. Alex Teft and Kinsley Smith almost get together. Almost seemed like Alex didn't know that Kinsley was up there on the high line. Kinsley's been running up there quite a while. Then you go on back and you have Joshua Neal in P5 from Fort Wayne. Brandon Puffenbarger, Valvoline 5 machine, working pretty well. Fastest man on the track is Corey Crowell from Oak Harbor, Ohio, with a 40.21. Timothy Hoke rolling through in P8. Ira Kohaus, after the little hiccup, has found himself back in 9th position. Andrew Teft, championship contender, is in 10th. Dennis Kane to his inside from Detroit in 11th. Have the 26 machine of Jeremy Carter in 12th, Sam Cohos in 13th, and Diego Rodriguez rounds out the field in 14th. Austin John Smith looking to try and do a little more battling here, as it looks like Alex Teff just got into the outside wall, went from clear up to the wall, almost down pit lane as the wall shot him down the track. Ian Campbell staying down low. As I say that, he moves up behind Kinsley Smith. Austin John Smith goes down to the inside through the corner, slides up to the outside on corner exit, and then right back down to the white line as he hits the start finish line to round out lap 35 here. The way things are going, we should see, as I say that, we should see drivers hit pit lane. Brandon Puffenbarger already in. Austin John Smith leading the race, last pit on lap 24, so we'll see if he's going to stay out to 48 or come in a little sooner. You can see how all these drivers attack the corner just a little bit differently, but they all try and end up in almost the same place coming down the backstretch to get in line and get a little bit of that draft coming down the backstretch. Ian Campbell in second, Kinsley Smith third. Looks like Brandon Puffenbarger had a little bit of an issue. Let's see if maybe we can take a look and see what happened to Puffenbarger here. Looks like he was just... Looks like he's just coming down pit lane. Austin John Smith leading the race. Ian Campbell, Kinsley Smith, and Alex Teft. Alex Teft kind of fanning out. As all four of these leaders kind of run different lines coming through the corner. They all slide up. Try and get close to that outside wall on corner exit and then right back down to the white line as they come to the start finish line. Looks like Puffenbarger elected to call it a night, put it on the hauler, and away she goes. So we'll see if these guys are going to try and get a few more laps. Kinsley Smith last pitted on lap 21. Ira Kohas also 21. Andrew Teft came in pretty early on lap 20. Dennis Kane lap 21 as well. Sam Kohlhaas headed down pit lane on lap 39 here. Andrew Teft coming in. About 7 laps left before Austin John Smith or Ian Campbell probably come in. Diego Rodriguez in the pits as well. Austin John Smith starting to get a little bit of a gap between himself and Alex Teft and Ian Campbell. Alex Teft going to the high side, Ian Campbell down low. They're battling through 1 and 2 right now. Looks like Teft's going to be able to carry his speed on that outside lane and get P2 away from Ian Campbell. Kinsley Smith is going to have his hands full momentarily with Joshua Neal. Joshua making his way inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. Looks like Corey Caldwell is going to slide through as well. Well, maybe not. It's going to be kind of a battle here, it looks like. Got Sam Kohlhaas down on the inside. That's going to have to slow up Caldwell just a little bit there. Now they are back to green flag racing as far as no lap cars in their way. If Caldwell can get by Smith. Here they roll on the bottom. Kinsley Smith's almost into the wall. He's been running that high seam you see on the track. Seems to carry quite a bit of speed coming off of turn 4, but tends to give it all back in 1 and 2, it looks like here. As Crowell gets in front of Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith down pit lane. Austin John Smith still leading the race. Austin John Smith, dominant winner last week at Iowa. And Andrew Teft had a little bit of trouble, which made that points gap what we see tonight. And if they finish the way they are right at the moment, Austin John Smith is probably going to have a pretty good cushion. Probably basically swap spots. There'll be 6 or 7 point difference heading into Texas next week to close out season 1 here in what has been a very successful Racers Elite Next Gen series that they have brought to the iRacing server. Timothy Hoke in, Dennis Kane in. Stay with these guys until everybody cycles through their pit cycles. We'll take our commercial break and then we'll bring you the rest of the action. Alex Teft is going to stay out. He's going to try and lead a lap here. Austin John Smith, Ian Campbell, Timothy Hoke all in. Alex Teft, Joshua Neal, Corey Caldwell, and Jeremy Carter all staying out for the moment. Yeah, that was crazy to see, Michael. Those sand barrels definitely like to go flying. Like Crawwell stays out. We got Alex, Steph, Joshua, Neal headed in. Jeremy Carter hasn't pitted yet as well. He last pitted on lap 24. Crawwell last pitted on lap 25. We'll see if he's going to make it one more lap and then hit pit lane. Drivers basically lose almost a lap depending on how much time they spend driving on pit road. So Crawwell's going to go around one more time. Definitely going to try and just split it into a 3-stop race. 25, 50, and 75, I'd assume, is what his plan is at the moment. He kind of came in and had that plan. And then a caution got thrown into the mix last night. So it kind of shook up his plans, but he's going to try again tonight and see what he can do. Bring this 21 forward to victory lane. That's going to turn the lead over to Austin John Smith once he gets around here. Austin John Smith's last pit lap time is, or pit lane time is 48:08. We'll see if Crawwell can get done any quicker. He's out of his box, headed to pit exit, but he will lose the spot. Like he's getting back out on track. He is faded now down to 6th position as he has to wait to get up to speed till the backstretch. Hits that blue commitment cone, gets back on the racing surface. But he is now 7.5 seconds back from Austin John Smith. And as they finish here and cycle through, we're going to step aside for a commercial break, and we'll be right back after this. You won't miss anything as we go side by side right here on Sim Racing Media. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Racers Elite Next Gen Series on Sim Racing Media. Mike Damoni up in the booth. As always, looks like Kinsley Smith gets a little loose. Austin John Smith is running a race by himself at the moment, has a 4-second lead. Alex Teft is slowly starting to pull away here as he is now got about a quarter of a second over Kinsley Smith. Joshua Neal is back in 4th and Ian Campbell in 5th. They are all going to have to pit one more time than Corey Crawwell, as Crawwell has hit his marks exactly every time, 25 laps. So he last pitted on lap 50. So we'll see what that has in store for him as they are working over halfway here, getting closer to that 60 lap mark. Let these guys roll through here. Looking at the stats here on this Next Gen Series, Andrew Teft has won 7 of his 16 starts, so 43%. Austin John Smith has won 4 of his 9 starts for 44%. Both of their average finishes are under 3. And both of them have finished inside the top 10 100% of the time. Like I said, last week was dominated by Austin John Smith. We'll see if he can continue that domination here today. Alex Teft in second has his hands full with Kinsley Smith. Kinsley getting pulled along the backstretch here. Down to the inside, Smith goes. Teft hanging tough on the high line, but it looks like Teft's going to give the position to Kinsley Smith. See how the drag off of turn 2 is headed down the backstretch. Looks like Teft might have a little bit of an edge. See if Kinsley Smith does jump up behind Teft, and they'll get pulled down the backstretch. Switches him over. He will go high this time and leave Teft down on the bottom side. And it almost sounds like we're almost to more pit stops as these guys have tried to decide which way is best to hit pit lane. Alex Teft almost gets in that outside wall. Kinsley Smith swings up high and is inches away from the wall as he comes through 1 and 2 and heading down that backstretch. Andrew Teft in for his 3rd pit stop of the day. If we can go looking for some action here. Looks like everybody's kind of spread out. Ira Kohlhaas down pit lane. Coming to the front stretch. Austin John Smith. You can just see the gap he has back to second place of Alex Teft. Just how much of a gap he has built up here. almost 6 seconds now back to Alex Teft. Alex Teft has got a little over half a second to Kinsley Smith. Kinsley Smith has a second back to Joshua Neal. Corey Crowell about 3 back. Crowell's not really too concerned with how much time he's losing per se, because he is hoping that he made it up in the amount of pit stops he's going to have to make, or the lack thereof. Timothy Hoke back here in 6th. Ian Campbell 7th. Campbell was up front for quite a while, battling with the leaders. Once pit stop started, it looks like he kind of faded back just a little bit. Might have to do a little pit road adjustments to get back to the front, as he needs to put some speed in that number 2 machine. Ira Kohaas was running up front, made a little mistake, went through the infield on the front stretch, and that car has not been the same since, as he is now back mired in P9 at the moment. Diego Rodriguez running P10 at the current time here, that 17 Ford. Like he's just trying to get some laps logged here. Andrew Teft made his 3rd pit stop on lap 60. Gonna have to make another one here in about 15 laps in order to get the 4 pit stops he needs to make it to the end. Austin John Smith last pit on lap 47, so we know he's gonna have to make at least a couple. The farthest anybody's gone on a fuel run is 25 laps, and that is Corey Crowell. Crowell hit it 25 each time, and it looks like Austin John Smith's gonna come down now. So he's going to cut that stint a little bit short here. Alex Teft inherits the lead. Kinsley Smith stays out. Corey Crowell also stays out. Like Jeremy Carter's also staying out, so Teft will lead the lap. We'll see if he's going to come in. We know Crowell is going to wait until lap 75. See how long Kinsley Smith or Alex Teft elect to stay out. I think Austin Smith knew he was going to have to make another pit stop, so he's trying to figure out the best way to do that as he comes in now. Probably about 3 or 4 laps shorter than he would have on a full fuel run. See how fast these guys can get through here, as Kinsley Smith is behind Joshua Neal. Joshua Neal is a lap down, trying to battle to get his lap back. Last pit on lap 64, so does have fresher tires than Kinsley Smith. Joshua Neal should start to pull away. He's going to try and catch Alex Teft, get his lap back the hard way here. He'll get it back when Alex comes to pit lane, but definitely want to be on the right side of that if anything were to happen. So Crowell trying to hang on here as well. He is 4.5 back from Alex Teft. But he is also only 33 seconds ahead of Austin John Smith. And Austin has made his 3rd pit stop. We probably will definitely, we'll definitely see Crowell come down on lap 75. Kinsley Smith in, Timothy Hoke in. Teft and Crowell are the ones staying out. Joshua Neal trying to battle to get his lap back the hard way, right on the rear bumper of the 43 machine of Alex Teft. You can see him bouncing down the backstretch. Neal pulls down to the inside, going to try and take the shortest way around the track, and he will get that position as he is now on the lead lap. Alex Teff still hanging out there. He'll probably have to come down pretty quickly. 48 laps is when he hit pit lane. It looks like he's coming down this time by. If he can get that 43 machine woed up and down to pit lane speed, like he will, Orwell is going to take over the lead as they come to the start-finish line. He will roll through 3 or 4 more laps at the moment. Jeremy Carter staying out as well. Both of these drivers last pitted on lap 50. Austin John Smith pitted on lap 65, is now in third, about, we'll call it 29 seconds back from Corey Crowell. Alex Teft on his way out. Crowell is definitely hoping that pit strategy is what's going to come to fruition here and win him this race. Gonna start lap 74 now. Seeing if anything's really going on towards the back here. I think Ian Campbell's down to the inside, coming off of pit lane. But everybody's still rolling through here. Farwell rolling through. Crowell in. Austin John Smith's going to take over the lead. Looks like Ian Campbell is slowed down towards the back. I don't know what's going on with that tube machine there. Joshua Neal, last pit on lap 64, up to P2. Alex Teft, pit on lap 71, P3. Kinsley Smith, 69, P4. Ira Kohlhaas, pit on 61, P5. Corey Crowell, 75. And he is P6 right now as he is on his way off of pit lane. And we'll get back to the race. So with that being said, we're going to step aside one last time for the final commercial break as these guys get ready to make their final money stop here within the last we'll say 3 to 5 laps. We'll see what happens here when we get back. Once again, this is Racers Elite Next Gen Series on Sim Racing Media. All right, welcome back to the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. Mike Timoni up in the booth for Sim Racing Media. We'll do a quick rundown with 20 laps to go. We should see these guys start to hit pit lane to get their money stop in. Well, almost everybody. Austin John Smith, last pitted on lap 65. Alex Teft in P2, last pit on lap 71. Corey Crowell sitting P3 right now. Looks like he's sitting pretty right at the moment. Lap 75 is the last time he hit pit lane. We're going to 100, and he has been getting 25 laps of fuel every run. Timothy Hoke up to 4th. Jeremy Carter is in 5th. Joshua Neal in 6th. Kinsley Smith 7th. Ira Kohas back in 8th. Andrew Teft 9th, and Ian Campbell rounds out that top 10. But with that being said, we got 4 cars left on the lead lap at the moment. Austin John Smith, Alex Teft, Corey Crowell, and Timothy Hoke. 18 laps to go. Austin John Smith is really feeling no pressure at the moment with 17 to go. Alex Teft about 12 seconds back. But I'm going to say both of those drivers are going to have to hit pit lane one more time. So we'll see what happens and when they elect to make that left-hand turn and go down pit lane. I'm going to say Austin John Smith is going to have to pit somewhere around the neighborhood of lap 90 if he goes the full 25 laps. Alex Teft coming down pit lane now, so that's going to open the door for Corey Crowell to get up into P2. Austin John Smith down pit lane. Corey Crowell rolling through here. Coming to the front stretch. Austin John Smith is not quite into his pit box. Just got there now. Looks like he's going to have to take a full fuel load, or pretty close to it. Got 15 laps to go here. Crowell is going to be leading momentarily. Timothy Hoke stayed out as well that time by. Austin John Smith on his way out of pit lane. He's going to have some time to make up. He comes out of pit lane 19 and a half, almost 20 seconds now back of Corey Crowell. Crowell has to hit his marks for these next 14 laps. And we'll see how this goes. Fastest man on the track is a guy a few laps down, Ian Campbell, with a 40.18. Fastest lap we've seen all race, and he just ran it on lap 83. Timothy Hope coming down pit lane. So Crowell, Jeremy Carter are the two that pitted on lap 75, running 1-2 at the moment. 14 laps to go. Crowell, Carter, and Smith. Austin John Smith is trying to close in. He's 3 seconds back from Jeremy Carter. Corey Crowell is leading the race here, has a almost 18-second gap to Jeremy Carter. Austin John Smith about 20 back. We'll see what Crowell can do here. 10 to go. Crowell, Carter, Smith, Alex Teft. Well, Austin John Smith just came to the start-finish line and threw down the dagger. 40.11 seconds here. Ooh, Crowell. Well, that wasn't Crowell. Who was that in front there? It looked like Crowell, but it was not. It looks like it might have been Diego Rodriguez. Caught loose right in front of Austin John Smith. Not something he wanted to see as he's trying to chase down the race leader right now. He is closing in with every lap, but I don't know that it's going to be enough to matter. Crowell trying to hit his marks with 8 laps to go. Jeremy Carter trying to steal a P2 here, but he has Austin John Smith going to be down his throat here shortly as he is just running away here. He is gaining over a half second a lap on Jeremy Carter. So Carter's going to have to find something else here if he wants to stay in P2, as that gap keeps getting smaller and smaller. Seven laps to go. 6 to go this time by Jeremy Carter. Just trying to hold on. The gap's now half a second. I always say catching the car in front of you is one thing. Passing them is another. Austin is trying everything he can. The gap is now down to a quarter of a second. Goes down to the inside, going to try and pass Carter on the bottom. And it looks like he'll be able to do just that. Slides up in front and now has his sights firmly set on Corey Crowell. Crowell in that 21 Ford elected to do a 3-stop race. And he has executed it to perfection. Handshake lap. 5 laps to go here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. See if we can jump on board here and watch lap or two from Austin John Smith's view here. He's got some lap traffic between himself and Corey Crowell. Crowell now is leading by under 16 seconds, but the time difference between Austin John Smith's lap and Crowell's lap is not going to be enough to make it matter in the end. 4 laps to go. Smith is closing as much as he can. He is on the back bumper here of the Harley Davidson number 30 of Sam Kohaus. Goes to the high side. Sneaks right through the wall as Sam Kohaus takes evasive action, goes down to the inside. We got 14-second difference between the leader and Austin John Smith. Looks like the top 3 are pretty well decided at the moment. Crowell, Smith, and Carter are running a heck of a race right now. 21, 23, and 26. Crowell rolling through to the front stretch. You get the 2 to go this time by. Well, coming to the white flag, has a 13-second lead at the moment. It is closing down, but white flag in the air, final lap. Burwell, no pressure at all. Austin John Smith sitting pretty in second, coming down the backstretch. Jeremy Carter in third, has a 9.5-second lead over Alex Teft in fourth place. Burwell coming to the start-finish line, and he will win. The Racers Elite Next Gen Series from Auto Club. If we can get some drivers up here in the booth real quick. Jeremy Carter in P3. In third place. We'll see if we can get an interview here momentarily. All right, let's get these guys jumping up here to the booth. All right, let's get these guys. There we go. Jeremy Carter, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
All right, how are you, Mike?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, heck of a race there. Looked like you had the right pit strategy that was able to get you on the podium here. How was the racing out there?
It was good racing there at the beginning when we all got spread out a little bit, and this type of racing is not really something I enjoy. If constantly trying to save fuel, but got a top 5 out of it.
Definitely, man. We're gonna do a quick interview here. So, anybody want to thank for that P3 before we get you out of here tonight?
Just you for broadcast. I'm glad you were able to get it up and going, and Andrew and Alex for doing this, and my wife and kids for letting me race.
Definitely, Matt. Well, congrats again on your P3 finish.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. See if we can get Austin up in the booth real quick. Hey, Austin, man. Heck of a race tonight.
Thanks, Mike. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Looked like the you just didn't quite have the right fuel strategy here, as you were only able to get back up to P2, but heck of a run anyway. Dominated most of the race.
Yeah, I thought I had the right strategy call. I actually short pitted on the third stop, knowing I was thinking that everybody was gonna have to pit again. So, man, Corey, good for him. He was able to find something I didn't have, and he was able to save a lot of fuel.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P2 finish. Looks like this is gonna. Looking at the where Andrew finished and where you finished, looks like it's going to be a neck and neck battle. So whoever comes out of Texas on top is going to be the champion here in this next gen series here.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very exciting race next week. I'm sure there'll be kind of fists up, and nobody's going to roll over for anybody there. And it'll be a great race. Hopefully everybody tunes in, and hopefully we can go out and grab the championship.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P2 finish. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Yeah, thanks for jumping in, getting the broadcast going. Race Elite for the league, and always to my family, letting me race, and they're always tuning in and watching. Appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again.
Thanks.
All right, let's see if we can get Corey up here. Well, Corey, second time in a week. How's it feeling, man?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Well, you had the right fuel strategy. You were able to turn it into a 3-stop race instead of a 4. Were you having to save a bunch of fuel out there in order to get that done?
First stop, I didn't really have to. Then the second one, not really, but that last one, I felt like I had to save a lot more. But I had just enough to get back through and couldn't even do a burnout.
Definitely, man. Well, it was a heck of a fuel strategy. You were able to get a victory here, pushes you forward into Texas. How's it looking going forward here?
Yeah, got some momentum going after that Eldora race. It feels like this week's been pretty good. I got a first, third, and a first, so hopefully we carry that over into next week.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your victory here. Anybody want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
You, as always, Racers Elite for the great league, Syndicate Motorsports, and B. Evans Designs.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and I will talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, let's do the rundown of the race results here real quick. Corey Crowell wins the race. Austin Smith in second. Jeremy Carter third. Alex Teft and Joshua Neal round out that top 5. Kinsley Smith, Ira Kohaas, Andrew Teft finishes 8th. Tough day for him. Timothy Hoke 9th. Ian Campbell in 10th. Dennis Kane finishes 11th. Diego Rodriguez, Sam Kohaas, Brandon Puffenbarger round out the field here of the Next Gen Series. And with that being said, from all of the drivers of the Racers Elite Next Gen Series and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you good night, and I will see you next time.